Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a lovely episode of And Rollin'. Woo. Maddie, what did we see today?
We saw Dracula, a love story.
Yeah.
But also it is just known here as Dracula.
Yeah, it's a French movie from last year.
French movie in English. Makes sense of that.
They know that they've lost the battle. They've lost the battle. They've caved to the English. What can I say?
Well, nothing more to say.
Yeah, no. Maddie, do you want to give us the rundown?
Yeah, well, I want to start a little bit before and just say that I had no knowledge of this movie until yesterday when I saw a fan edit and then immediately was like, okay, what's that? And I looked it up thinking I'd have to stream it, and it just showed that it was in theaters near me, so I checked and I got tickets within 10 minutes of seeing this fan edit. It was a very persuasive fan edit.
And I didn't know what it was until I saw an email come through that was like, you've booked an entourage.
Yeah,
thing.
I didn't tell you about
awesome.
it. I just booked.
Cool. So.
And that is, I think, the benefit of AMC A-List is that I can just do that. And I don't have to, because right now we are making a group chat to go and see Wuthering Heights. And it's like, what theater do you want? When can you do it? Blah, blah, blah. And it's just so much easier to be like,
we're going here.
We're going here at this time.
Yeah.
I've booked your ticket.
Yeah.
So.
It's true.
I don't know. Plug.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug for no value except I want my friends to join so I can have a bigger entourage to make movie viewing easier.
Very true.
So anyway, the movie is as advertised Dracula, but it is a little different. It's it starts in 1480 and you see Dracula and his wife Elisabetta, and they are frolicking in their bedroom. It seems like maybe they're newlyweds. It was giving strong honeymoon vibes. Not leaving the bedroom. Her hair, if you notice during this section, gets progressively more mangled and matted. It starts out looking okay, and then as they continue, it gets
I didn't notice that.
Nasty.
Yeah.
Okay, well I did.
There you go.
And then they're forcibly torn apart by his men because he needs to go and fight the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah.
And he'd rather just stay making out with her pushed up against a wall than do anything.
They were not making out when they pulled them off.
No, but they continued to then just make out.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, no. They pulled him off and out.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. Yep.
Setting the right tone, I think, is important.
Yeah.
So she then gets dressed in the most elaborate costume I think I've ever seen, and then rides on horseback. Meanwhile, he goes and fights this battle. They win, but as he's about to kill the prince, I don't know, someone important.
Yeah.
He finds out from his men that she's been ambushed on the road, and she is again riding with this 20-foot long train. And he takes off to find her. Her horse is running through this empty field with snow laid on top of all of these traps. And so some of the riders behind her who are chasing her get thrown off their horse, blah, 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 very tense. And finally her horse gets snapped. So she falls off this horse, which is crazy that she's able to get back up because, I don't know, she's wearing 20 pounds of ornate clothing. This is not I'm making a run for it. This is I'm showing up to my wedding in 1480 type clothing. It was beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It was stunning. Yeah. Visually amazing. Practically horrible.
Useless. Very useless.
Useless is not even strong enough. It's detrimental. So she's moving away and her leg gets caught in one of these traps, which looks painful as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So painful. And Vlad shows up. He kills all but one. He throws the spear, or he throws a sword, and his sword goes through that guy and into Elisabetta.
Yeah.
And she kind of stumbles. And this is what the edit was that I saw that made me want to go see this movie. He runs and like grabs her before she can fall. And then like he like lowers her gently to the ground. And I was like, sold. What's this? Then, I guess before all of the battle happens, he goes to a priest and is like, I'm killing in the name of God. Tell God to protect my wife. And the priest is like, I'll pray for her. And he's like, no. You tell God to keep that woman safe.
Yeah.
And after she's dead, he goes back to the priest and is like, what went wrong, basically.
Yeah.
And the priest is like, she's in the hands of God now. He'll give her a destiny. And he's like, he won't give her a destiny because she's dead. And ends up breaking a cross and shanking the priest, killing the priest.
Yeah.
And then becomes forsaken by God, who puts a curse on him that he can never die. And that's how he becomes Dracula, the vampire. And then we flash to
present day. Well,
present
quote
day,
unquote present day. It's like 1890 or something.
Yeah. And a young man is coming to a castle in Romania, and he's...
Well, no, you have the psych ward first.
Oh, yes. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so an older man coming to a psych ward in Paris.
Yeah.
And it's a priest who is being summoned by a doctor and his assistant who have something to show him. And so they're talking about this woman who, on the day of her wedding, she became so like deranged, but also sexually, like, I can't even think of the word.
Her
appetite became crazy.
Yeah.
Like, she just started writhing, essentially.
Yeah.
And they have her in her wedding dress, locked in chains in a dungeon. And they go to examine her, and the priest is like, oh, we've been following this phenomenon for 400 years. This is, if it's what I think it is, and they do all these like little tests, and he's like, this is a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
And she's this beautiful redheaded woman, and they ask, who changed you and whatnot. She's like, my master. And then they're like, why is your master? I don't know. They're just like trying to get to the bottom of things. And she says that he's coming.
Yeah.
And there's some back and forth. Like, some things happen. We go back to the psych ward.
It goes back to the castle.
Yeah. And then you see this young man named Jonathan who arrives at the castle, and he's asked by the driver of the carriage, do you believe in God? And he's like, no. And he's like, you maybe should. And he gives him a cross, and he just like tucks it in his stuff, and he goes inside, and the castle is as creepy as you would think, but it also looks like a cathedral, which is just kind of fun. And all the doors are opening by themselves, and there's no one there, and then suddenly someone is there, and it's Padme Amidala if she were 1,000 years old.
That's so true, though.
That is how they have decided that Dracula looks after 400 years, is like. And if you haven't seen it, you do really have to go and like look, just Google a picture.
Just look it up.
It is the most interesting costume design.
It's so.
It is such a strange choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alternatively, it's a little bit like if Padme Amidala crossed with the leader of the Federation.
Yes.
And was also 1,000 years old.
Yes. No, that's so true.
So Dracula's not looking too hot. He is also acting super weird, as per usual.
Mm-hmm.
And he shows Jonathan his room and is like, stay here, don't leave. But of course, that doesn't happen. Jonathan goes and explores. He finds that there's no one in this castle, but he finds a a coffin, and he opens it, and it's Dracula sleeping there in the dungeon. Actually, it's not the dungeon, it's this little chapel where he killed the priest. But it is like on a lower level.
Yeah.
And Dracula says, you should have stayed in your room. And then gargoyles, because there are gargoyles in this castle that can move around. And
they're like alive.
imagine the gargoyles from The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Except they don't talk.
Mm-hmm. And that's what you get.
Yep.
And they like clock him over the head. And then he wakes up and he's bleeding. And now he's in the dungeon, but it's way high up. And Dracula strings him up, and he's like, what would you like your last... What's your final last wish? And Jonathan, in a brilliant move, is like, tell me your story. So Dracula, like, sits down and is like, this is my story. And Hollander.
Dude, no, it is a little bit of that. It is a Hollander.
Hollander.
Yeah. Side note, everyone, I was talking about this. If you think of like, so all that Romanian is just like Spanish or Italian or Portuguese, but with a Russian accent. So like, you could literally sit there and be like, oh, la, 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 and you'd be like, me amo Matthew. And like, that's Romanian. That's all it is. That's the entire language, and that's how he sounds this entire time. He just sounds like a little Russian boy. And I know I'm going to make some Romanian people mad when I say that, but...
One in particular.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the one Romanian man that I know is going to be very upset with me. So, yeah.
Well, so he tells him the story of Elisabetta, and then you start to see what happens after he buries her. And he's got like this whole castle full of people, and then he starts to wander because he's convinced that she'll be reincarnated.
Yeah.
And so he travels all over, and he can't find her. So he comes back and he tries to kill himself by throwing himself out of the tallest window over and over and over again. And you just see him like falling and then like trudging back up the stairs with like progressively more injuries. And then you just see him go to the window and like flop out again. I mean, it's really funny.
Yeah.
This happens, I mean, like longer than you'd think.
Yeah.
And then it just shows a montage of him hitting the ground like thud, 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 thud.
Yeah.
And I actually really liked it. I thought that was a really funny ad. Like,
yeah.
And so he loses people because they die, obviously, and his courtyard is then filled with like crosses. But Elisabetta has a different kind of stone. And then he decides that he needs to find every woman. Like he needs something that will attract the women to him. So he makes this beautiful perfume that no woman can resist. Mm-hmm. And then they have another really campy montage of him going to all of these different courts.
And he dabs his neck.
He dabs his neck
He's
in
like,
a very specific way. It's like one touch to one side, one touch to the other.
Yeah.
And he's like smiling, he's smirking. He looks like debonair.
Yeah.
And then all of these different courts start doing this very elaborate dance.
Yeah.
And it was also just like, oh.
Yeah. And then he gets really upset when he thinks that he found her.
Yeah, he thinks that he's found Elisabetta in the court of
Versailles.
one of the Louis in
Versailles.
Versailles. I know it's Versailles, but he said, I don't remember what Louis it was.
Oh, okay.
So it's one of the Louis. And when he thinks he finds her but doesn't, he looks around and sees that court is fucking disgusting, which it is. And it was.
Yeah.
And he goes crazy and he just bites a bunch of women, including our dear sweet Maria.
Yes.
And that kind of brings you to present day where he's like, he at one point goes, after he's decided he's done looking for her, he goes and he lays on her grave, and like maybe for a whole year, snow collects on him, like dirt and grime collect on him.
Yeah.
As he's just laying on top of her grave. I was taken back during this point to Saltburn, and I was like, oh God, not again. But no, he just lays on it.
Yeah. And he, but basically the guy's like, I have a fiance, and he opens the picture of his fiance, and it's the reincarnation of Elizabetta.
Named Mina.
Yes.
And so then we jump back to Paris, and the doctor and the priest are really worried about Maria, and then lo and behold, Mina comes in, and they're like, she's the girl we've been looking for, because they had gone to...
He's been doing research.
They'd gone to Maria's house and like looked in her room and found a picture of the countess, because she had told them that he was looking for a princess. And so they found a picture from the history books. Yada, yada, yada. Anyway, they know it's her. And they tell her that Maria is sick. They need all these answers. She gets kind of overwhelmed and like leaves. And then Vlad
shows up.
Vlad has traveled from Romania to Paris, and he frees Maria. Mm-hmm. And also lets Maria turn the little doctor's assistant into a vampire.
Yeah, the twink.
Yes. And then Maria shows up at Mina's house and is like, I'm better, come out with me. And they go to the World's Fair, and
Vlad tags along.
Vlad is awestruck, gobsmacked
again.
Yeah. And I actually really like this montage. They go to the World's Fair, so they go to like there's it's just like a fun fair.
Just imagine a carnival.
Yeah, a carnival. And then there's a point where Mina gets scared, and he's there to like help her, and then he shows her how to shoot a gun, which is a parallel to their frolicking scene in the opening.
Yep.
So it's all nice, and then they go up to his apartment, and Mina's like, we shouldn't be here. It's improper for us to be with a man. And Maria's like, loser. And then she leaves so that they can have some alone time. He shows her this music box that he gave to Elisabetta, and is like, whenever my wife wanted me, she'd play this through the castle, and I would come to her. And Mina's like, wow, that seems so familiar, but I can't quite place it. And he's like, think back. Go deeper.
Yeah.
And he gives it to her.
Yep.
So she leaves eventually after like the fireworks display, and comes back, and Jonathan has escaped the castle, which is its own other like montage somewhere in there. Yeah. He's just fighting the gargoyles, and like he gets out on a lake. They can't cross it because they're made of stone, and they break through the ice. So he survives. He gets back to Paris, and the doctor and the priest are there, and they're like, oh my God, it's crazy. And she's like, the guy that I've been hanging out with all day, he seems so nice. And they're like, you know him? And I don't know. It's dramatic.
Yep.
And then she goes up to her room, and she plays the music box, and she's remembering more. And shockingly, again, he comes because he hears the music played, because he does have like supernatural powers.
Oh yeah, he can like make things float and stuff.
Yeah, but it's like unclear as to how those came to him, and that lore's not really super explained, but he does have powers. So he just appears, and then they have a cute little exchange. She remembers him, and they get back to what they were doing 400 years ago. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, take me, turn me. And he does. And then they run away, and then they find... like they being the doctor and the priest realize that he's there. They come up and they're gone.
Yep. They're like, oh no, we need to go to Romania.
But first they go and they look for Maria. And Maria has gone back to her fiance, and she's about to like turn him when they interrupt. And then, as someone that I overheard in the bathroom after the movie said, she Naruto runs at the priest and the doctor. And that is so accurate. She does. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They kill her by beheading her. And like staking her through the heart. It's crazy. I feel bad for her. But then they go to Romania, and they get there like 10 minutes after,
which is wild,
Vlad and Mina.
Which is wild because they get like the entire Romanian army to show up to this castle.
I think it's the French army.
They're speaking Romanian.
Okay.
At least it sounded Romanian.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. They show up with like armed troops, and again, like they've been home 10 minutes. And they come in. Elizabetha has like changed into her old outfit. They have like 2 seconds of them being happy together. And then the French or Romanians like break down the door and they're literally firing cannonballs at the castle from across the lake.
Yeah.
Kind of insane. And so he goes down, he kills everybody, but he talks to the priest. And the priest is like, if you die, she'll be turned back into a human and you won't be damning her anymore. And he walks away, and because she screams for him because she's under attack. There's like 3 dudes upstairs that are coming for her. He runs through. This is like maybe the hottest part of the movie. He kills all of them and then like opens the door and like is like searching for her and hoists her up and is like, "Are you okay?" Whatever. Beautiful. No notes. That was perfect for me.
Yep.
And then he decides that he's going to set her free, and she begs him not to. But he goes outside, lets the priest stake him through the heart, and then he turns into an old ass Padme Amidala again, and she's still like, "My love, don't leave me." And then he turns into dust, and then the dust flies out of the room.
She's like losing it.
Yeah. Well, fair. He turns into dust and like floats off into the sky, and then the priest is like, "All right, well, my job's done," and just walks away. And that's kind of the end of the movie.
Well, and then everyone kind of wakes up, and apparently the gargoyles were children.
Oh, yeah. They turn into like weird children wearing loincloths, and they look, their like heads are shaved. They have really sunken in eyes.
Yeah, and they're wearing like that pasty white powder that you see like in some weird movies and stuff like that.
That was honestly the weirdest part of this whole thing. I was like,
really
what?
Strange.
Where are we?
I was like,
where are they going? What are they doing?
Yeah.
Oh, another part that I didn't mention is that when Vlad finds out that Mina is alive, he goes and he kills all of the nuns in a local nunnery, and that's how he becomes like young again.
Yeah.
So he's not this like ancient ass man
to like become young, basically. Yeah.
And actually, he tells her that he doesn't even like blood. He just needs it to look pretty. And he's like, "I did that for you."
Yeah. Literally.
All right. So what did you think?
This movie was good and bad. Very average movie for me. I know you liked it more than me. I think.
So I don't think that this movie was like a fabulously like perfectly made movie, but I had a lot of fun watching it.
It was fun to watch, but I agree. It was fun to watch.
I think that like the visuals were so stunning, even as I'm like, wow, that veil is so detrimental and impractical. But I was still like, it's stunning to see it. And I really liked the visual of it all.
Yeah, it's very much a fantasy.
And that's exactly what I told you, I think, earlier after we saw it, was like, oh, it was like watching a dream or like watching a real fairy tale. Like how you envision fairy tales when you're a kid. This was just that brought onto the screen, which is often all I want. The vibes were immaculate.
Yeah, the vibes were crazy. So, yeah. I know you have notes. Maddie wrote down some notes for this one.
I do. So I started that I got into this because I saw the fan edit and the yearning was so palpable, so I immediately bought tickets. It was important for me to convey that to everyone. So I feel like we've covered that.
The yearning.
One thing that I felt like this movie did, which was interesting, we've talked a little bit about breath acting. For example, the Conclave, and I think we'll get into it a little bit with Ann Lee. But this movie was more spit and snot acting.
And scream acting. There was a lot of like screaming in this movie.
Yeah, that didn't bother me in the way of this man's upper lip was always damp, and then you saw like whole spit bubbles.
Yeah.
And then sometimes other people's upper lips were I was just like, what's going up with like the Sulas, the sweaty upper lips alerts?
It was happening. Yeah.
I wanted a little like powder put on everyone. And I will say too, in the beginning, the first like couple minutes, I was a little bit like, oh no, Dracula is so ugly with his hair.
He did seem really ugly in the first scene.
Yeah. His hair was greasy and like gross, and he looked sweaty and not in a good way.
No. Like he looked dirty. Like he needed a bath.
Like I wanted, like if that was his look after the battle, I would have been like, yeah,
Makes sense.
Right.
Right.
But the fact that that was his look going into the battle was actually a little upsetting.
Yeah.
I was like, are you trying to convey that they've been like locked in the room, not bathing because they're just so into each other?
I think
maybe that is what it was.
I think that's kind of the vibe.
And I was like, I'd rather him be a little cleaner and then be dirty from the battle when he saves her. And that I can get behind.
Yeah.
Or when he tries to save her.
Yeah.
Anyway, the sweat acting was strong in this movie.
It was very strong. Yes.
And so was the yearning, though. Like, I don't know that I've ever seen someone yearn as hard as that man.
So we talked about this a little bit, but like this is a Dracula where you're like, nah, dude, like I felt bad for him.
I know. I was like,
damn, dude, like I think maybe you should have.
And we'll get into that in a second because that
waited.
is actually a big criticism that I have of the movie.
But like I felt bad for him, and I think this is a good contrast to one of our most popular episodes of And Rolling with Nosferatu, where like I did not feel bad for Nosferatu was like a horror movie, while this was like a campy B movie.
I have to say,
ways.
I think that Nosferatu was trying to go for this movie's vibes.
Yes.
And they did not get there. It was much drier. This
Yes.
movie really got the vibe and aesthetic.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie got the vibe and aesthetic, but it wasn't as well made. But like the color, like the Nosferatu was like
hard to see.
This is the other thing that I liked about this movie compared to Nosferatu a little bit. I know we're getting sidetracked and we'll get back to your list, but like in this movie, they explain why Dracula is the way that he is. Like I talked about this in the last one where I'm like, I don't like how in horror movies they just don't explain it. In this one, they explain everything. He's like, yeah, I got cursed by God and this is it. And I'm like, awesome, cool. So that's what's happening. That's why you're like this. And that's why all of this is happening. It gives a lot of context, and I could like get behind the characters more. I was like, thank you for doing that. That is a positive criticism that I have towards this movie that I liked. More horror movies should do that, where they don't have to like go through a huge deep backstory, but I want to know why things are happening, you know? So, anyways.
Yeah. No, very fair.
Mm-hmm.
But there are so many instances where his acting, he's not even necessarily acting to another person. It's him conveying how cherished this woman is.
Yeah.
And I just thought he did that so well.
And like the other thing is like, even when he gets to the nunnery and all of the nuns are like pining after him, he's like, you can tell he's like, I don't actually care about these women because I only care about my woman. I only care about Elizabeth. That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
And I really liked the scene. Like, there were some funny moments between the two of them. Like when he shows up in her boudoir and she's like, leave the way you came, and he's going to jump off the balcony. And of course we've seen that like he'll be fine, but she's like, no, don't kill yourself. Don't kill yourself here under my window. And he's like, you'd rather me kill myself farther away? She's like, yes, no, yes. And then she's like, but they said that you drink the blood of your victims. And he's like, I do. That's true. But you're not my victim.
Yes.
You're my beloved. And it was just like I don't know. I really actually liked those scenes. It didn't feel like, and this I think is probably where the whole part of like the subtitle of it being a love story, it did not feel like he was preying on her at all. It felt very much like he listened to her. She was, you know.
Well, I think the whole carnival scene is kind of how I feel sometimes when you're like at a girls' night, but I'm like the tag along, is I just kind of like hang back and you and your girlfriend have a good time, you know? And he's just kind of like, this is great.
I was going to say, he's just happy to be in her presence.
Yes.
And I think that I wasn't sure if that was how it was going to go, because the first bit of them together does seem so hung up on like the sexual part of their relationship. Like obviously it shows them doing other things, but they're always in their underclothes, they're in their bedroom, and I was a little worried that it was going to be him being like, I've waited so long, I have to have you now.
Yeah.
And that was not it at all. He was like very respectful, that like she seemed a little skittish of him.
Yeah.
He was just happy to be there, and he was like very attentive to her.
Mm-hmm.
The dream, honestly.
There you go.
So I wrote that down. I wrote down gargoyles ? Children ? 2 question marks. That was just so strange, and there was no, like, it would have just made more sense for them to be real gargoyles that had like come to life.
Yeah.
Also, the CGI was ass.
This movie was low budget.
And I think
this is where I was like, it's a B film.
Right. I think
You
that
know?
the CGI is kind of what puts it down. I think if
Yes.
it had really good CGI, that would have bumped it up.
Yeah.
Because the performances were there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No,
the gargoyles were strange.
They were super
And then
strange.
the choice of making them monk children was absolutely bizarre.
Yeah, and everyone's just like, oh, that's the way it is. There's a lot in this movie that isn't. I guess I said like, oh, there's a lot in this movie that's explained, but there's a lot of like time jumping in this movie where it's like, yeah, they show up at the castle, then 10 minutes later, everyone else is there, and I'm like, hold on a second. When did everyone get here before them? Like, this is crazy. Stuff like that, where you're just like, okay, cool. I guess we're here now. And that's kind of the fantasy element. You just kind of have to roll with a lot of the punches in this movie.
Right.
It's like, okay, cool.
So the twink that Matthew spoke about before, he's actually the actor who plays young Henry Creel in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And when I was looking up this movie, I was like, oh, that's so interesting, because it is a French movie, and so I hadn't really heard of the other actors except for Christophe Waltz, who plays the priest.
Yeah.
But when I looked him up, I was like, oh, he's a French and American. And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense, because he looks really creepy and like strange if you think he's American. But as soon as you realize he's French, I'm like, oh no, he looks really normal. Like, I get it now. He's just French.
You're like, oh, he's just French.
Yeah. And I thought that was really funny that like, I didn't know he wasn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was French. And once I did know that, I was like, oh yeah, okay, he's not unsettling to look at. He's just French.
Yeah.
So that was kind of funny to me. I really liked that in this movie they took us to all of the like classic Gothic settings. So you get the castle, you get the madhouse, you get the nunnery, you get world, like the carnival.
Yeah.
It's all of these things that were not super unsettling in this movie, but are historically very unsettling places.
Yeah, and you know more about that than me.
Yeah, I mean, those are just like very classic things. And like, for example, Gothic lit typically has the same sort of things over and over and over again. And this movie doesn't have that, but
yeah.
I appreciated the kind of, in some ways, nod to Gothic lit by having all of the traditional settings. Like, classic Gothic lit will always have a runaway carriage and usually a mistaken identity and like unresolved, like, oh, you're my long lost brother, but you've come back, and and there's usually like a bad priest.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So there's always kind of these tropes.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that like a setting can also be in some ways a trope. And this one got like all of them.
There you go.
I mean, what? We didn't get on like a steamboat?
No, we did not.
But that's kind of it. Like,
yeah.
We hit all the other big ones.
There's not a lot of water between France and Romania. So,
yeah.
You know.
The perfume dance I did just find so funny, and I wrote that down. In terms of performances, I thought that everyone gave a pretty good performance.
Yeah.
And there was one like super standout to me.
Mm-hmm.
Maria.
Really? You liked her performance that much?
I thought especially her opening when they're examining her and she is going through all of these different, like, she seems kind of unhinged, but she's happy and sad and giggling and menacing, and you don't really know what's coming next. I just thought that was a really, like, there was a lot of dexterity in that performance.
Does that have to do with the breathy stuff that you were talking about earlier too?
No.
Okay.
I did like her teeth, like,
oh yeah,
whatever
yeah.
she
when
did
she's
for
chomping.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you didn't care for her performance?
I thought she was fine. I thought that I thought that everyone did a really good job, and I thought the guy who played Dracula was really good.
I thought
But
he
has
was
a lot
good
of screen
too.
time,
Yeah,
so,
he does have a lot of screen time. I just thought that Maria had a big range that she had to show.
She does have a big range
in a way that I didn't see other characters having as much of a range.
That's a very fair point.
And certainly, like Elisabetta and Mina, I didn't think that they had her show much of a range.
No.
In some ways, she was just like dead wife montage. In other ways, as Mina, she had a lot more to do, but as Elisabetta, it was just like dead wife montage.
Yeah, she was. It was a lot of the same.
Yeah, which, whatever. Maybe there's more that we just didn't get to see.
Maybe. It does seem like parts of this movie were cut.
Yes, and I will say this is my big criticism of the movie is that I found it really frustrating that when we had the option, like when he talks to the priest in the castle and the priest is like, you're damning her.
Yeah.
He says, she is my salvation.
Mm-hmm.
And the priest says, you are her damnation. And like, clearly the priest has an ulterior motive here. And so Dracula, like, he hears that and he leaves to run to her aid. And you're thinking like, oh, it's going to be fine. Well, not really, because, like, we all know how it ends. But she says that she wants him to stay, and he doesn't listen to her. Instead, he listens to the other man who shouldn't really matter to him. And so it felt to me like her agency in that moment wasn't valued and didn't happen because she was gung-ho to, like, run away and just be together for forever.
Yeah.
So
it felt like a world break in a lot of ways, that decision, where you're like, why would you do that? And especially because of like the pining and everything that happens for the entire movie. And for what? And it's like this dramatic action sequence at the same time too.
I just didn't like that he made that choice for her when she was verbalizing a totally different desire. And I think then it turned the movie away from being the love story and turned it into the traditional like Dracula versus God. But like it shows that love and hate is such a fine line, because even though he says for centuries that he hates God, the minute he thinks that he is damning her, he goes against everything he stood for up until that point. So clearly it matters to him. Like, he is disposable in his eyes, but her standing with God matters to him, which means that God matters to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do know what you mean. And like, this kind of brings to mind when at the end of Sinners a little bit, when can't remember, one of the twins and the woman like run away and everything because they're vampires. Now they have the agency to do what they want. It feels kind of like the opposite of that, where it's like now that they're vampires, they're still screwed.
I know. I actually would have, and I've thought about this. I would prefer if they got to just live outside of God's shelter.
What do you mean live outside their shelter?
Well, like, he's cursed them. Okay. Let them live that way.
Right.
Like, that's what they want.
Right. Well, because especially since it's like, it seems like the movie's saying like, is kind of an anti-religion film, it seems, for a little bit of it, or like an anti-Christian thing is what it's saying. And then it doesn't become that all of a sudden.
Well, I don't know
it
if
mixes up the themes.
I don't know if it's ever anti-Christian, because at one point Dracula's like, do you think God hates our love? And she says, God is love. How could he hate us? And then she says, if he does, like, he can go to hell. So I don't know that it's anti-Christian. I think it's just like pro-love.
Yeah, maybe anti-Christian is too strong, but it seems like there's a lot of like religious criticism happening, and then that criticism gets thrown out, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I just think it's more nuanced than that. I think it's supposed to be his character flaw. Do you know what I mean?
It's just not apparent until that moment. That much, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have to also bring up that when we went to see this, I didn't know much about the director. And since then, I have learned that the director has several allegations of sexual assault.
Nice. Okay.
And even though those are just allegations and they haven't been proven, he does have a track record of marrying teenage women while he is in his mid to late 30s.
What is...
He got a 15-year-old pregnant when he was like 32. What? Yeah. Yeah.
So he's a pedophile?
Yes.
Okay. So that's not an allegation. That's like a fact.
No. That's what I'm saying. Is
okay.
that like he has a track record, like a proven track record. Like the allegations aside, even ignore those just for a second, even though you shouldn't ignore them. We know for a fact he has married women in their teens.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Nice, dude.
So that was like disappointing to learn at best and like horrifying at like truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I did have a fun time watching this movie. I did like it. And then it was like, oh no. And because I was so into like the male yearning for this woman. And then I was like, no.
Maybe he didn't write it. Did he write it?
I don't know if he wrote it. He produced it.
Ugh. Well.
Produced and directed. So that's a bummer.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Maybe that's why it needed to be in English, because his name is well known in France for being creepy, you know?
I don't know. I really don't.
Just saying.
I did see somewhere that people were saying that he's the most Hollywood of all French directors.
I get that vibe.
Yeah, because he's done like other, like the one that I had heard of him for before was like the Valerian movie.
Oh, he did that?
Yeah, and that's actually where he was most recently accused of assaulting someone. Yeah. Again, big bummer.
Yeah. Crazy. Well, yeah. There you go.
I thought the accents were good.
The accents were very good. The blah, 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 blah is on point.
Hollander.
Listen. I am...
Especially because, as we found out from watching some of the promo, he's from Texas.
Yeah, when you see the promos, he's
Which
like...
Which is also the guy who says Hollander in Hidden Rivalry. He is also from Texas.
Yeah, but he
doesn't sound like it in the same way.
He has like a quote-unquote gay accent, though, in that one.
Yeah.
But like this guy, he's like, oh, yeah, well, howdy, look at that. That's crazy over there. Like, that's how he talks, which is really weird. Maybe not that hick.
He talks like Friday Night Lights.
Yes. Yeah, he's like, we got some good football coming on tonight. We're going to deal with that, and it's going to be awesome. That's how he talks, which is really interesting. So, yeah, no. What would you... did you have any more notes that you wanted? Or?
Well, I had a note about the rating. But I was curious if you had any thoughts about any of the stuff that we've talked about or themes. And
I think that in terms of themes and stuff, I mean, we kind of talked about the confusing theme for me at the end. I liked how this was a twist, because it's really like a romance movie, really.
Yeah.
Which was
dare I
cool.
say, this is what Wuthering Heights is going to try to do.
And it won't do it.
Do you know what I mean? Like, this is, again, the vibe that we're about to see them try.
Yeah.
And I don't know that they're going to do it.
I think that Wuthering Heights is going to fail because it will be too... I have a strong hunch that Wuthering Heights is going to be too raunchy.
Are you saying withering or wuthering?
Well, it's W-U is how it's spelled.
Right.
I thought it was Wuthering Heights.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I saying it wrong?
Withering. I think it's just that I-U merger.
Yeah, it's my accent. I know. Yeah, it's bad.
It sounds like withering is what I'm
not trying to say withering. I'm trying to say withering. So
those two things sounded exactly the same.
Well, they're not. So I don't know what to
say.
Say
withering and then say
wuthering. It's not Wuthering Heights, right?
Wuthering.
Yeah, but it's a softer U than what I just said, right? It's not Wuthering Heights. It's Wuthering Heights.
Jury's out. Phone in, everyone. Tell us what you think.
It's like it's not a UO. It's like a U. It's just a U sound. It's a sound, sort of. Wuthering Heights. Yeah, but it's like quicker than that.
Wuthering.
It's not withering. It's Wuthering Heights.
To me, those two sound exactly the same.
Well, they're not the same. So I don't know what to tell you.
The intention behind them is not the same.
You don't have your training on I's and E's and U's and A's need to get better, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe a little bit of your O's too. So
while we're at it, throw in a Y.
Yeah. I think that but anyways, I think that it's gonna be Heights is gonna be too raunchy, and this is not raunchy.
This was Longing.
Yeah.
It came up at a sleepover I was at recently, where we were talking about like when you're a teenager and hormonal, you're just kind of crazy, and how as you age you have to like cultivate. The phrase we used was cultivate horniness, and this movie was doing that in spades, dare I say. But it also, it's so interesting to me that it's from this director who's so like heinous, because
He couldn't have written it.
I
doubt it.
Well, yeah, but so much is still dictated by the director. I felt like this had a lot of female gaze, and I've seen a lot of people being like, oh, this movie and Frankenstein have like solidified for me that I don't want a man, I want a monster.
Also, this is the other thing, is people have been comparing this movie to Frankenstein, and I'm like, Frankenstein is a better movie. I don't know how to break it to you all. It's just better. Sorry. That's my opinion on it. But there you go.
Isn't Christoph Waltz in both of them? He plays the priest in this one, and he plays the uncle that has syphilis.
Oh, yeah, he is, isn't he? Yeah. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, No, he did the screenplay.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
He didn't produce it, though.
Crazy. In the credits, his name was listed as a producer.
Well, according to Wikipedia, it's Virginie Celion or something. Some French lady. So.
Well.
Yeah. Anyways.
What would you rate this?
It's like a 5.
Oh, that's low, I think.
Fine. I mean, that's fine. I actually think that this movie and like Bridgerton have a lot in common for me, where I'm like, will I watch them? Yes. Will I get into the characters? Probably. Do I think that it's like grade A good stuff? Absolutely not.
You take that back about Bridgerton season 2.
Season 2 is good, but the whole show itself, even parts of season 2, you're like, come on, dude, But
I have never once felt that way about season 2 of Bridgerton.
Okay,
for the record.
That's fine. But that's just kind of how I feel, in my opinion. So.
And you feel wrong.
Okay, fine. I feel wrong. What do you rate it then?
Okay.
Damn.
So, and I think this kind of gets back to my like, I sometimes struggle with the rating because it's just one number. I think that there are two scales for me going on here. There's the how good of a movie, like critically good, and then how much fun did I have. So I'm going to like average those out. Okay. So we have the good movie scale and the Maddie fun scale. And on a good movie scale, I think it's probably, a 6.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say.
I think that's how I'm thinking about this.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But then Maddie fun scale, I think for me was like an 8.5.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, I had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to average that out at 7.25.
Okay, we're getting really deep into the decimals and fractions here.
Well, when you're
Cultivating horniness.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. If we ever make merch, we'll have to like
cultivate. Yeah. That'll be a good one.
mm-hmm.
Very true. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that this movie was fun for me, and we've talked about this for me. A movie can be fun for me, but that doesn't make a movie good for me.
Oh, absolutely. But I do think that this is better than a lot of the other movies that I've seen that I've enjoyed. like I think that I see the vision here, and I do think that they executed on the vision really well. Like the prosthetics for him being old, while yes, his wig made him look like Padme Amidala.
Yeah.
Those skin those
good.
skin prosthetics on his face and neck and arms, they're crazy good. And like, yeah, the CGI kind of weird, but it wasn't like so weird that I couldn't enjoy myself. Plus, I like a little camp. I feel like that's what Nosferatu was missing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that like I think of this movie kind of like Gladiator 2 in a lot of ways for me.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, was it fun? Sure. Was it good? No. Like
some of the best movies I think are like that. Like some of the most enjoyable movies.
I just don't see, if a movie's good for me, I get a lot more enjoyment out of it. I enjoy well-made things even if it's not for me.
I agree. I guess I don't think that this was poorly made.
Sure. We'll agree to disagree on that one. I don't think it's poorly made. But it's not well made.
I don't think we're getting into like The Room territory.
No. Yeah, exactly. It's not The Room, but it's not.
But we're also not getting into like.
It's not Schindler's List. Like.
You're no Meryl Streep.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's like a solidly like B2C well-made movie. Like it's not a blockbuster.
No.
It's not going to top anyone's list, but I don't think it's like I don't think it's shitty in the way that like
you know what I find really interesting about this movie, especially in the American market, is how it's being marketed as a horror film. Like maybe not by like the
fan edits.
Not the fan edits and the, what do they call it? The guerrilla marketing of like people saying things like word of mouth marketing.
Yeah.
But like the poster and like AMC, it's like it's horror time at AMC. And I think that's because horror movies are like in for film people right now. And so they're like, we can get more people in the seats if we market it that way.
Yeah, and I think it's Dracula, so there's some certain expectations.
Right. And
like I think if you were to say, oh, it's a Dracula romance,
it would turn people off.
You wouldn't get the gothic element of it. People would kind of expect like a rom-com about Dracula.
Yeah, I agree.
Which, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I guess here's my thing. There was nothing that really stuck out to me as being like super obviously bad.
The CG
besides the CG. But even that, I was like, that's kind of on par with The Mummy.
But
CG.
The Mummy was made in the 90s.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, it wasn't like, ugh. I'm trying to think of a movie with like super, super horrible CG that's like unwatchable. Nothing was unwatchable about this.
That's true.
And
Nothing
like the
was
script
unwatchable.
Was fine. The visuals, besides the CG, were good.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The script was a little unoriginal for me. Like, I know it's like the elements and the cinematography added a lot and the costumes added a lot, and it was a little bit different. But like, I was like, it's Dracula, man. Like,
yeah, and that's where I think I'm like, oh yeah, this could totally and like the '92 version, like the quintessential Dracula.
Yeah.
You know, where you're like really just kind of digging into the fairy tale element of it, the gothic story elements.
Yeah.
And like I like that. I like that kind of thing. Sue me, okay? Sue me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying. It's a good I see your point. I don't think that it was as fun as for me as it was for you in a lot of ways. So,
yeah.
There you are. That's my take.
In a rare turn of events, we had a great audience for this movie.
Yeah.
And it was like a packed house. So we went on, what was it, Saturday at 6 p.m.
Yeah, it was Saturday.
Not exactly. I mean, like, obviously a lot of, like, kids come to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And there's adults, too. But I tend to think of people kind of going out and doing, like, date night or other things.
Yeah.
And I do feel like, especially since the pandemic, the movie theater has not exactly been, like, popping on a Saturday night. And our theater was full.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just really excited to see that. And then I thought it was really fun to have that kind of full experience.
It also wasn't a full experience where it was people just like killing time. Like they were invested in the movie, reacted to the movie, but not obnoxiously or anything. It was actually ideal.
It was like a throwback to the golden age of theater going.
Yeah.
And I think, too, it's full not in the Barbie way. You know, like the Barbenheimer. The theaters were full for Barbenheimer, but that was such a cultural moment.
Yeah.
And again, I've only seen, I mean, now since we've seen it, I've been getting a lot of TikToks and stuff about this movie. But when I booked the tickets, I only saw the one fan edit. It wasn't even the official page. It was just someone doing it for the love of the game, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
But to think that, like, this wasn't a huge release and we had a full theater.
Yeah.
I just thought that was
nice.
Really cool.
It was
really
nice.
cool. And then the row in front of us during the credits, they all like knew each other. They're like a Dracula fan club.
They were like mega fans.
They
dude.
were so into Dracula. I mean, they were like nitpicking this movie and others. Like they were talking about other Dracula movies as well.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think that was the person who did the Naruto.
Yeah, that was in the bathroom.
Yeah.
They were from that group. But just like Dracula super fans. And I think that that's kind of fun too. Like a little book club but for the movies. Yeah. I think that's in some ways what we're trying to do here, you know?
Yeah. Get people to talk about it.
So
Absolutely.
it was a nice experience, and like no one was on their phone.
No.
No one was chatting. It was like an appropriate movie audience. So kudos to the 6:15 p.m. or whatever it was.
6:15 p.m. That's when we saw it. Yeah.
At our AMC.
It was nice.
We love you guys.
I know we have a Dear Maddie.
We do. We do have a Dear Maddie. This Dear Maddie, once again, comes to us from Danny.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to play it for Matthew. I will say I listened to this on the train because that's when I get my Danny fix. And I have been thinking about this, Dear Maddie, because I don't know that I have like an off-the-cuff answer. So I have been like, I've been ruminating on it.
I'm scared now because I have to, you're putting me on the spot, but
yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah. You're going to be okay because actually it's really it's more towards me and you'll see why.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if is it still playing, and slightly exposing myself, but I would love your thoughts on Iron Lung if you have a chance to see it. If it's still in theaters, I feel like both I am endeared to Markiplier as if we picked apples in Papa's orchard, but also I feel like would love your guys' thoughts on the indie movie of it all when you guys were talking about or when Matt was talking about how he is not advertised to. It was making me think about how, like, I don't want to explain anything that you already know about this movie, but truly Markiplier did everything, and, like, it was very independently done in multiple ways. From, like, writing, directing, starring, but also, like, he made a render farm in his bathtub and did all of that himself as well, and then they, like, it was very grassroots. People would ask theaters to have the movie played in the theaters, and then it opened up and like had a huge opening and was on the charts. So I'm very parasocially proud of that little boy, and also I thought it was a great movie. And so it was one of those real fun times where I was like, I want to support it on principle because it's a creative that I like, and I love an indie do-it-yourself moment. Feels very Solstice Productions of him, and also that it ended up being a good movie. And yeah, I would be fascinated by your thoughts on it if you so choose to partake. And then, dear Maddie, I would love to know. I know that we've been talking about Matt's Ice Age absolute cinema moments, but I was curious what like absolute cinema moments kind of stand out to you guys in your past, whether that is more recent stuff, or whether you kind of have a memory of like a big cinematic moment from your childhood. I feel like, as I was thinking about the question, mine would probably have to be I saw Pirates of the Caribbean 3 at a drive-in, and that I love a drive-in moment, and I feel like that movie works really well in a drive-in setting, and so I feel like that was a big moment for me. Was curious about both of your guys's absolute cinema, and I am doing the little meme motion. So yeah, thanks so much. Great pod.
Okay. Absolute cinema.
Absolute cinema.
Absolute
well,
cinema.
Let's first just say, love the suggestion for Iron Lung.
Yes.
You
go ahead.
Well, I hate to say I'm a scaredy cat, but like I only do horror and especially like post-apocalyptic stuff in very specific circumstances. So this might need to be screened for me. And the appropriate channels can tell me if that is a go for Maddie or not.
I think you might struggle with the claustrophobia aspect.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, I thought Marty Supreme was tiresome.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think that what Markiplier's doing is definitely impressive, to say the least. Like that he did all of that himself.
Yeah, what she's talking about sounds intense.
Yeah, I mean, it's and like I think that one of my favorite movies actually is like a $100 budget indie film called Primer. I'm pretty sure it's about two guys who go back in time to rig the lottery, and it's like filmed in a storage unit and his house, and that's it.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because this kind of ties into her absolute cinema thing. This was not from when I was a young child, but when I was in high school, I saw. So this is, it came out when I was in like high school, and it was called Tonight You're Mine or You Instead, and it's this indie movie filmed at a British music festival, Tea in the Park, and so they went. They went to this music festival and they did live performances and the people knew that they were being filmed. And then it premiered the next year, the first night of the festival at Tea in the Park.
Oh,
and
very
cool. I think it's very of the moment, but being of the moment, like in 2012, 2013, to me, it was like, that's absolute cinema.
Yeah.
But that's a little older.
Yeah. I definitely get that. I think I'm trying to think of a moment that I think this is not a movie, but it's a TV show. But the 2004 Battlestar Galactica, if you haven't seen it, prime television. Everyone should watch it. It's fantastic. But in season 3, they're on a planet called New Caprica, and there's like this weird truce between them and the Cylons and everything. Spoiler for anyone who wants to see it. But they like have this huge rescue mission, and it's like really daring, and it might be like the best 15 minutes of like action-packed stuff I've seen maybe ever. It's that good. It's so good. And it's like you have a real emotional investment and everything, and you see the build up to it the whole episode, and you're like, how are they going to do this? How are they going to do this? And they really almost don't. It's crazy. It's one of the only times where I was like, this might be it. This is it, bro. And the stakes feel really high and really intense. That's an absolute cinema moment for me, for sure.
I feel like my family's big into movies, my dad especially, and my mom too, but like, I watched so many movies growing up, and they were just sort of like part of the fabric of what we would do. And like, I remember my first experience in the movie theater, it was The Prince of Egypt, and it was too loud for me.
Yeah.
And we had to leave at a certain point. We didn't get very far into it. I don't remember if we went back in. I don't think we did. I think I like freaked out and we had to leave. But there are a lot of movies that I watched over and over and over again as a kid. One is the Madeline live action movie.
There's a live action Madeline movie?
Yes, and it is absolute cinema. It's so good.
Okay.
You get Miss Clavel, you get Pepito.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something I think about. I also what came to mind for me was the Swan Princess, the animated movie.
Oh, yeah.
Loved that. And I don't really know if well, actually I do. It's that moment where you follow her as a swan over the forest and under the waterfall, and there's like a viaduct, and then you land in the lake, and the castle's behind her, and it's like moonlit.
Yeah.
And then she transforms into and it's like, ooh. It's like a little twinkling noise, and then it's like, ba-da-da. And the water kind of like twirls around her, and she becomes Odette again.
Yeah. That's an absolute cinema moment for you.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
To the point where like I've had dreams even as an adult where I'm in that setting. Like that's the backdrop of some of my dreams. And they're always lovely. Like,
yeah,
it's like being in a tapestry. So I think
That's nice.
of that. Now, funny that Danny brings up Pirates of the Caribbean, because I remember watching the first Pirates of the Caribbean on a plane coming back from visiting family in California. And that was kind of my intro to, because that was one of the first flights that I'd had a personal tablet in the seat in front of me.
Oh, sure.
You know, it wasn't even a tablet at that point. It was just a screen.
Yeah.
And at the same time, everyone who turned their screen on could watch the movie in tandem. And we saw Pirates of the Caribbean 1, and that was, I think, my introduction to like a good plane movie.
Yeah. Plane movie, a good plane movie for me. If Star Wars is in there, I'm a big Star Wars fan, because it's like I can turn my brain off. I've seen it.
When I was really sick on our flight to Ireland, and you guys were all asleep because it was the middle of the night, I put on all of the Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I totally get what you're saying.
That's a good one. A movie that I feel almost the entire thing for me is an absolute cinema moment, just because it has a lot of... It's not my favorite movie. I would say...
Oh, sorry. I just realized what one of mine... Keep going.
No, say yours.
Narnia Prince Caspian.
Oh, God.
That...
I knew you were going to say that.
And like every bit of it, the harrowing moment where Prince Caspian has to run because his uncles had a baby boy, and the music, and then you have the Pevensies, and they come back to Narnia, and it's in crumbles, like Cara Parvell is in crumbles and shambles, and and then you have some awesome funny moments where like Edmund forgets his torch and whatnot. You were older then, blah blah blah, and then at the end, like, and the costumes are amazing, and then you have the trees coming to their aid. And then the Call by Regina Spektor starts to play as they're leaving.
Okay.
I remember watching that in theaters and being like, oh, they cooked.
So a movie for me that I feel like is absolute cinema but isn't my favorite movie ever is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, the second in the new trilogy.
Is that the one with Tom Felton?
No, it's the one after Tom Felton, actually.
Where Tom Felton wasn't welcomed back.
Yeah, that's Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Excuse me. Yeah.
You need to get all of the of-thes in the Planet of the Apes movies. So
get a tattoo or just list them.
Dawn of Beneath the in the
Dawn Beneath
it's so stupid. But anyways, in Dawn, I feel like that whole movie for me, especially the end, or well, not the end, but like midway and the end, are such good. That movie makes me think even to this day. Like the themes that come up in this movie are so vast. Like there's themes about power, leadership, humility, vengeance. You have themes about racism and prejudice and survival and like all of this stuff, and it all comes up, and it's all done in like 2 hours, and there's no answers. There's no answers to it, but the themes are completely present, and there's not really a clear, like, moral understanding about what's in there, but it makes you think. I love it. I love that movie. That whole movie, especially the last like half of that movie, is like absolute cinema for me. It is really, really good, and you don't really need to see the other ones to understand what's going on. So, highly recommended.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of like any. I feel like most of my absolute cinema moments are maybe more emotional, less in your head.
Yeah, like what? Well, like you said, Swan Lake and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like I remember seeing Moulin Rouge for the first time in a basement of my friend's house for a sleepover.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, like, we watched that every sleepover for a couple of years. I mean, it was, like, a very...
Mm-hmm.
And that, again, I mean, they're all kind of the same thing of, like, elaborate setting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I find that... I understand what you mean. Yeah. Just elaborate settings
And then in
stuff.
college, I saw Little Hours in theaters. And that, I had another absolute cinema, but, like...
Mm-hmm.
Not because it was so beautiful, but just it was like well done, well acted.
Have you ever been
Funny?
Well, like Moulin Rouge might be an example of this, but have you ever been at like a friend's house or something, and you're watching on the shittiest TV that like known to man, and like you find just the most amazing movie you have ever seen? And you, like, stay up till, like, 3 a.m. watching it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, so the movies, and this is, like, Danny, you're taking us down all these different rabbit holes. It's so great.
Mm-hmm.
The movies that I remember watching at sleepovers were Moulin Rouge,
mm-hmm.
The Italian Job,
mm-hmm.
Monty Python, Search for the Holy Grail.
That's a classic. That's a good movie.
And then Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Girlhood.
For me, so my friend had a copy of Star Wars Episode 6. It was the only copy he had. He had it on VHS, but it was like a taping of like a rerun.
Yeah.
And so like we always had to fast forward through the commercials.
That's
it was so
incredible.
annoying.
That's
and like
so funny.
there'd be a thing where it'd start off and it's like, we're showing Star Wars tonight. And you're like, oh my God. And so that was one for me. And then another movie where I stayed up and I was like, there's no way. It was at Ryan's house, and Ryan probably doesn't remember this because he was passed out. So by the time we started this, but like everyone was there. So it was like 5 guys. And me and TJ stayed up and we watched Wolf of Wall Street. That's how I watched Wolf of Wall Street at first. It was like 2 a.m. on a Friday night. In Ryan's basement.
Yeah, that feels like really accurate and true.
Doesn't it feel like such a boy moment?
Yeah,
you're like wow, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that movie was like an absolute cinema moment for me too. I like it. That's where I learned that in like going back to Marty Supreme. That's how I learned I like the Downfall movies, because I was just like, this guy can't mess it up anymore, and he just keeps doing it. So
yeah, I hated that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
I know you did. And that's okay.
I know.
Also, addendum. So we're recording this after I have released Marty Supreme, or at least this section. And I mentioned this in the description on Spotify, but I wholeheartedly add an addendum to my Marty Supreme thing. The fact that I rated that an 8, almost a 9, I think that in the moment I was like, yeah, that was really good. Looking back, it's like maybe a 6, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I doing? I listened to myself and I was like, that is the most wrong opinion I've ever had.
That was crazy too. Like, we've had a really good, I mean, I guess this came out, we saw it in 2025. So
Yeah.
you're thinking the same year as like Sinners and Warfare and all that.
Yeah, which is crazy to me. Like, why would I think that? I don't know what I'm
Hamnet.
thinking. Yeah, that's crazy.
You lost your mind.
Well, I'm just like
You
that
were-
is my F1 nomination.
Well, I think
Moment.
that, and often, and this is kind of the smoke and mirrors of it, a
Mhm.
big budget where you can do things like have a really in-depth kind of background actors, background sets, when you can really immerse the audience in a world. I think that a big budget like that carries a lot of other things.
Yeah, and I think that the movie, like, it's kind of like Danny was saying, like, there's so much going on that you feel like you're getting your like, I was like, I definitely got my money's worth. Like, there was so much going on. When in reality, what was going on? Like, there wasn't, it's not like it was like, oh, this thing happened, and this thing happened, and this thing happened, and like, because of XYZ. Just that there's so much movie, like, in Wolf of Wall Street, I felt like it was like, well, this thing happened, and then it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And Marty Supreme, it's like, it's getting worse, but then it doesn't matter that it's getting worse. In Wolf of Wall Street, it felt like it mattered that it was getting worse. Like, there was a lot of stakes, I felt like. And in Marty Supreme, he starts from nothing and ends with nothing. And in Wolf of Wall Street, he starts with nothing and ends with something, at least.
Yeah.
I
think that was what I was trying to convey in there, that I was like, there was no development. Like,
yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, like as a character, he's
it
just the
felt
same.
Really shallow. And like,
Yeah, because like in Jordan changes in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, totally.
So
Totally.
yeah, I get it.
It's the other parts of Wolf of Wall Street that I don't like.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. I'll allow it. I'll allow a change.
I can't believe I said that. I was like, no way. So
I'm full of chagrin.
I would love to do, like, at some point when we have enough, like, see what we rated it, and then like go back and be like, what were we thinking?
Or like true or false, you rated this
Yeah. Because I was trying to think, I'm like, did I rate Nosferatu a 6?
I don't know. We do need to keep a log somewhere, because I was trying to go back, and I was like, I'm not listening to the whole episode just to like find out where we ranked.
Yeah, because we don't
people
do
we
it
meet
at
on
the same
vacation.
time.
Yeah.
I know.
So we should keep a log. So who knows?
Anyways,
new things that might be coming your way.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to put it out there that we've got the Oscars coming up. So that's pretty exciting. And I realized that we passed the year mark of And Rolling Pod. That was in November. So we're like well past the year mark.
Okay.
I know, right?
Yeah, that we're definitely past it.
Very much past it. But like, happy belated 1 year.
Hey, that's a good 1 year.
You did it, kid.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. So anyways, that's Dracula, everyone. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, I feel like my girls have my back. They'll have my back in the comments. They'll get it.
That's fine.
They'll totally get it. This movie's for the girls.
This movie is more for the girls than the guys. That's for sure.
Finally.
Yes.
Finally, someone understands that Dracula is for the girls.
It is definitely.
I just can't believe that it's this heinous man who understands that.
It's. Yeah. And
Yeah.
like, well, even in the opening when they're like, as you described, the frolic, like even some of that, it started off and I was like, oh, this is the vibe. And then it got weird when they're like throwing cake at each other and stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
ew.
I mean, like, I've never wanted to have a food fight with you, but
No, it seems like a pain in the ass to clean up and messy. And
I think they then ate what. I think that was part of what was going on.
That seems messy. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that seems messy and like a lot of work. Like, I that's just not. That's not appealing to me, you know? So there you go. Unless it's like a small amount. like a bite-sized little chocolate chip on the nose. You know? That I can deal with. The face covered and smothered in icing that's going to be sticky afterwards. Ew, no,
Now
thank
imagine he didn't bathe and then went immediately into battle.
Yes!
I will say his armor looked sick.
The armor was sick.
It was pretty cool armor.
It was cool armor.
He had like a feathered body piece.
Yeah.
And then his helmet looked like a wolf.
With a dragon
Yeah.
skull at
Yeah.
the same time. It was cool.
Yeah, I guess it's a dragon. It was really cool.
Yeah, it kind of looked like a goat to me, but like it kind of looked like Satan. Like the Satan goat thing.
And
whoa, crazy. It's almost like it's the same thing.
dost thou want to live deliciously?
Bounce on it.
Dost thou want to bounce on it? Crazy style.
Yeah, that's the... That was a meme from Nosferatu.
Well, it was a meme from the Vivitch and then crossed with Nosferatu.
Yeah. What were you going to say? Can you believe what?
Could you imagine Black Phillip from the Vivitch saying that?
No.
I want to bounce
No,
on a crazy style.
Kyle.
That'd be so insane. Oh, that would be terrifying. That's a new horror story.
There you go. Yeah.
And by the way, I do know it's the witch. We call it the Vivitch. Because I know someone's like...
It's an inside...
A keyboard warrior is like, oh my god, that's not the right way to say it.
I can't wait for a film bro to be like, no!
Me and that film bro are not going to get along, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. No. I don't think I've met a film bro that I've gotten along with. I know that...
And you never will.
I know I'm talking to a real... to a person I really don't want to hang out with when they're like, have you seen this film from the Soviet Union? And I'm like, no, dude, I haven't. Like, sorry, I'm not about that. And they're like, it's really deep. And I'm like, it's propaganda. Like every Soviet film. I don't know what to tell you.
Wait.
What?
You might have to cut that out because didn't Zach just say that in New York?
What?
He showed us he told us about a Soviet film that we should watch from the post-war era about those nuns.
No, that's British.
British, okay.
That's a British film. Zach, you're good. Zach's not a film bro. We've talked about how Zach's not a film bro. Zach's in the clear. Zach, you're good. I know Zach's listening to this. You're good.
Okay, I was just worried that you were going to alienate our friend.
No, I'm not alienating him because
and
he's
also
not
that
one.
movie sounded really interesting, and I did kind of want to see it. So
yeah, I know. So
no, I was shocked that you were. I was like, is he talking about that movie? Because that sounded really good.
No,
and
I'm
also,
not talking about that movie.
Zach said he was going to listen, so that's
and
we're
he
cutting
will,
that.
and he'll be like, "Oh, they were never talking about me." That's going to be his thought process.
Perfect.
So, and now we've really clarified it. So he's all good.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie. That's double funny right now for me.
Yes.
Because of...
That's why I said it.
Yeah, because of Fallout and stuff. So, anyways, there you go. And that's the movie. If you have a Dear Maddie, let us know. And for the next episode, other episode after that or whenever, just write one, please. You know, that'd be really cool. And then if you really want to, we're doing things on TikTok now, and I'm going to start releasing the episodes on TikTok. So if you really are weird and want to listen to a full hour-long podcast on TikTok, you can do that now because...
And we will say eventually we want to get video up, but we're just not there yet.
We are not in a space, man.
We live right now
in an attic.
In like a single room in an attic. And while I think it looks nice, I don't really want you to see all of my my bed and my dresser. There are some things that should remain off the internet.
It's true.
And my bedroom is that thing.
Wow. That's a crazy request, babe.
I know.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Anyways.
You'll have to wait for that.
There you go. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the Testament of Ann Lee. Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.